13th of August in Woking, Radio Woking, we have a special night to celebrate the life of a local guy called Michael Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
Who was well known for being a musician, but he's also a keen sportsman as well. Died at a very young age of 55 last year. Tragic. Pulmonary fibrosis. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
I've been practicing that. Why are these horrible words difficult to pronounce?
Well, they're horrible illnesses as well.
Yeah,
so I suppose the good thing is about if the word is as bad as the illness there.
Yeah. In fact, yeah, at the funeral, we had a mixture of like all the... it's a bit of a mod. We had all the scooters there, which was quite a nice thing to see. You can hear them coming around the corner, you know. Old Preda scooters. They had like his... I'm not sure... I think it might have been something like bowls or something like that he was really into. So a different set of friends for...
Yeah, he was a cricketer, wasn't he?
Cricketer, bowl. Yeah. Where bowls from?
And fisherman. He used to take...
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk when he passed away from people, you know, like missing his... Obviously, you know, encouraging his children and stuff at cricket and fishing and stuff. Which is sad, you know, family man as well.
Obviously, dad and granddad.
Yeah.
You know.
Which, after all, is the main thing, isn't it?
But I knew him as the rock and roll bass player from Vox Pop, who I tried to manage. I say tried, it was a learning curve for all of us 30 odd years ago, which is quite crazy now, how time's passed on. And he was in a band before that called 5 O'Clock High, and his brother Dave Bailey, not the photographer, in case people get confused out there. And the gig is basically a, dare I say, a super group.
It's a kind of testimonial in a way, isn't it? Because in Woking, there's all talk about the Woking's music history and stuff, but really, music scenes in any town revolve around the people that are in the grassroots scene, like people like David and Michael, and you can talk talk to John after the news and stuff like that. Not just around one famous band or two or whoever. It's kind of a celebration of how people make things, going on about people making things happen, but it's how the real richness of like the grassroots music and stuff like that is from people like this who are doing their music, they're bringing up their kids, they sort of have other hobbies and stuff as well. People are much more than one-dimensional, and it's kind of like these are the real heroes of music scenes, I think, anyway.
To me, punk to me is not about the clothes that you wear and the safety pins for your nose. It's going off your backside and doing something for yourself and making it happen. Booking the venue, booking the pay yourself,
DIY.
telling the local, do it yourself. Telling all the local papers, harassing them until they put something in the paper.
Harassing people to advertise your gigs? I don't know what you mean, Pete. You're not like that.
I'm polite though. Or I think I am anyway. Yeah. Persistent, annoying probably, but I'm not going to change. So
but you're doing a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, my sort of calling card is all for charity, which always makes them feel guilty, of course. Well, it doesn't half the time, but it should do.
So should we hear a 5 O'Clock High tune to take us to the news?
Yeah, this is the band that Dave and Mick Bailey were in the mid-80s, who I didn't actually see live, but...
I feel sad because I met them late, like I think 2013, when I was managing a stage for Jake Fest, and they were playing. And there was, that was before the illness took over and stuff. And we were talking about, like, when we got a place, the reforming, and it would have been lovely, to have that happen again. And obviously that wasn't to be. So I've got this All Hours. Is that one that you would like me to play?
Yeah, go for it.
This is All Hours by 5 O'Clock High.
You wear my heart of oak. When you sang stop. parties at any price. We don't think past the day. If we're lucky, we won't remember yesterday. Time forever to give pleasures back to what we've been. It's history, and the girls change with eternity. Condemned to slavery for eternity. We never had the chance to choose, and in life we don't lose. We're just like mum, we're just like dad. We can't lose what we never had. Ours are the cafes and the pubs, the bingo halls, social clubs. Getting on fight, coming home, following suit, TV show. Ours is the goal, the original sin. On a factory floor, to go up and drink. A football match, terrorist kicking. Who says it's only living? We never had the chance to choose, and in life we don't lose. We're just like mum, we're just like dad. We can't lose what we never had.
Oh, so that was lovely. 5 o'clock high, all hours. I don't know what happened there. I think it must have, something else must have kicked in, and my connector got possessed with something electronic. We're going to go to the news in a second, and afterwards we're going to devote the whole hour to talking about this event. Actually, it's going to be lovely because it's at a football club as well, so it's kind of a real
It's their old stomping
proper,
grounds.
yeah, community feel, community football club. Let's get going then.
Sweet lipstick, you paint a pretty picture. The innocence of your smile keeps me going through the night. I'd like to know you, I'd like to think, but I know you're pretty impossible. You're pretty impossible. Can't help but think of you when I'm with that someone else. Can't wink 'cause that's someone else. It's so close to me yet so far away. I'd like to know you, I'd like to ask, but I know you're pretty impossible. You're pretty impossible. I always get this far and stop, 'cause what I'm doing is supposed to be wrong. How can I be wrong if I want you? Oh, I want you, but how I can have you? I dream of you from time to time, wondering how it could have been. They said that loving two's a crime. How come I'm still thinking about the pretty impossible? Oh, pretty impossible. She's pretty impossible.
So, welcome back to the second hour of the Fiery Bird Show, and I'm delighted. I've obviously got Pete Cole in the studio.
Hello.
Almost a fixture now with your shenanigans with music, and he's wrangled John Rollinson, and so we're really fortunate because John's joining us on the phone to talk about this gig, but also his music career and what he's up to as well. So thanks for joining us, John.
You're welcome. Hello.
So you're playing at this gig on the 13th of August, the memorial gig celebrating Michael Bailey as part of Vox Pop. How was your involvement with Vox Pop originally?
Well, I played lead guitar in Vox Pop. It was actually myself and Scott Merritt who was going to play bass at the memorial gig, but can't now actually make it. So my eldest son, Ben, is going to step in. He's a very good bass player, and he's going to step in. And Scott and I started the band, and we were sort of going along with it, and then didn't really know where to go next, and decided to call up David Bailey and say, what are you doing now? Because I'd known Dave since I was in my mid-teens, and Dave came along and sort of became the main sort of writer, although I wrote some of the songs, and Dave became the main writer. And then after probably a couple of years or so, Scott decided he wanted to leave, and that's where Michael came in onto bass, took over the bass duties, and we had Martin Smith on drums. And we went on for probably, I don't know, another 2 or 3 years until the band fizzled out like they do. But I'd known Michael and David anyway since say I was in my mid-teens, and I used to go along to their rehearsals at the old community centre up at Knapp Hill, and just try and be a hanger-on and sort of do a bit of roadieing and things. But they were all that bit older than me, so I could only go to some of the gigs. And
this is 5 o'clock high, by the way.
That was 5 o'clock high, yeah, when they were rehearsing.
That was 5 o'clock high, yes, yeah.
But I mean,
so I'd known them from there, we got back in touch, I say, in our early 20s, and got the band going, and just had a good time playing sort of all over the south of England.
That's funny, isn't it? Because it seems to things seem to work better when they happen organically like that, where you just kind of know that you kind of get on with people, you know you're going to like working with them, and then it seems to just work so much better that way.
Yeah, so we never really sort of thought we were going to do too much. It was really just Scott and I mucking about, because Scott had originally been a keyboard player, and we sort of messed around with that a bit, but it didn't really go anywhere. And then he just turned up around my house one day and said, I've got a bass guitar, and that was really the start of Vox Pop. Once we got Dave on board and then brought Martin in, we were away, and then that's when Pete came in, and he managed us for a period.
Yeah,
a learning curve all round, I do believe.
So the thing is this new programme that everyone's very divided over about the Sex Pistols or Spinal Tap. How much input would you have if there? In fact, maybe we should do a local one about local bands.
I'll tell you what, before I'd even seen Spinal Tap, I've actually sort of experienced some of the scenes in my own life. I've been lost backstage. I've told a band that for one thing that goes wrong, 100 things go right, and that's actually straight out of the film. So even it's not just the bands, it's the management as well. But we had a good laugh, didn't we, John? We got a few gigs put on, maybe around London, the Water Rats, the West. Is it the Cricketers from West Kennington?
No, you have a much better memory for these things than I do. One thing I do remember is that we were an all over the place sort of band, and I remember one drummer we auditioned said we were struggling for direction, and when Pete came on board, he got us so many gigs that over the sort of 3 or 4 months we went from being this all over the place band to being really quite a tight little unit, and it made quite a difference to us. But of course we were young and arrogant, so we used to upset Pete quite a bit with our antics, things we used to get up to. But that's the stupidity of youth, really, isn't it?
It does somewhat make me smile now, but yeah, you're right. It was quite frustrating at the time.
But the thing is that's true though, isn't it? That it doesn't matter really how much you rehearse. The only way a band can really, really come together is by like gigging.
Yeah, I've kept him busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he certainly did. I can remember sort of playing sort of 3 gigs a week, which I'd never done with anything like it before, and I've never done anything since until I joined this new lot, and now we seem to be out quite a lot, which is great because I'm loving doing it again. I mean, the things that maybe are difficult are all the setting up and the getting there,
load in, load out,
logistics.
like that. But of course, when you're young and you're in your 20s, it's just part of it, and you just do it, and you build up a rapport with each other and a camaraderie, and you'll get to know each other, and it becomes a sort of you're almost like a team, really. And
Yeah.
you're taking on the world, and you think you can take the world on, and it's only when you get older that you get insecurities.
Yeah.
So, of course, the band you're talking about is the TR5s.
It is the TR5s, yeah. It's run by Sid Stovold, who does some stuff on Lucky, as he calls
He
himself.
does. He does a radio show on here, yeah.
On Woking Radio. And I'm Richie when I'm in the band, so we've all got names. And we do sort of 50s and 60s stuff. We call it skiffle and roll. And it's been mostly cover versions, but we've recently started to write a few more songs. We've got 2 originals in the set regularly, but we've now got another 3 that we're working on. So we're hoping to do an EP later in the year with a rock and roll label that will be 2 originals and 2 covers.
Brilliant,
Nice.
yeah. Because you're gigging loads, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we've got 4 this weekend. We're playing we're playing down near Hindhead at a party in the garden or something. I don't know what it's called. Then we're at Shine Fest, and then we've got another 2 on Sunday. So yeah, it's really busy, and it's great. It's the buzz. We have so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're having fun on the stage as well. We're always laughing and mucking about, so it's good fun.
And the TR5s are the special guests, even though, so you're playing 2 sets
Yes,
on the
yeah,
13th
I'm
of
really
August.
like that, mate.
Yeah, how many? Yeah, so are you in all 3 bands
Well,
playing,
when it
John?
is, there's only one main band. The Sound of Woking is what we're calling it.
Oh, but you're mixing the people around.
But
So
basically-
are these like a Venn diagram then? Basically,
Kind of.
this gig is a Venn diagram.
Basically,
Who's in the middle bit? The
John-
sweet spot.
John and Dave with Ben and a special drummer, which I'll come on to in a minute, are playing the songs of 5 O'Clock High and Vox Pop.
Oh,
So it's basically one
got their
band,
own
but
cover band now. You're a tribute band.
they're tribute to their own songs.
Wow.
Bit confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, we're Vox Pop Light.
4 O'Clock High. Basically, I'd like to give a special mention because 5 O'Clock High's drummer, I don't even know his name, can't remember, I'm afraid.
Greg Turner.
Greg's gone AWOL.
Yeah. Well, he listens to the show every week, so now he's going to be annoyed with you.
Well, we couldn't get hold of him. And Martin from Vox Pop, he can't make it, unfortunately, for health issues. So I reached out to a chap called Buddy Ascott. I'm sure the mods out there have heard of the Chords. Well, he was their legendary drummer. He is there, an absolute legend. He's going to be a special guest drummer for the Sound of Woking, which is basically 5 O'Clock High and Vox Pop as one band on the 13th of August, which is, well, no.
It's a bit. It is a big gig though, isn't it, for Woking? Because it's not something that happens every day. These bands, do you know what I mean? Like it's a revisit of like I suppose probably the heyday of our age group's youth, in a way.
Again, the venue is exactly. You hit the hammer on the head there, nail on the head, or whatever the expression is, because the Woking Football Club was like a haunt for John and Dave, I do believe, John?
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly the Northern Soul stuff we used to go to there, but then lots of people would have parties there and you'd have bands playing. I went to a couple of promotional gigs there that people had done and that sort of thing. So
Wasn't the Style Council's video for Solid Bond in Your...
Solid Bond in Your Heart, yeah.
Was it you or Dave that's in the video? You can somewhere.
No, I don't think neither of us are in the video that I'm aware of. I'm certainly not.
Oh, okay. I thought you all went down to that one, but maybe I got my wires crossed. But
I was only about 12, so...
oh, yeah, you're a youngster. I forget. So, yeah, the gig, I should actually say, it's actually a fundraiser for the... I hate trying to pronounce this word. Pulmonary Fibrosis. Is that correct?
That's easy for you to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
it was close.
Because that's close enough. A horrible disease, horrible name, which ultimately was, Mick's reason for Mick passing. That, and unfortunately, I think he had cancer as well. So it was like a double whammy. So that's a sad bit of it. But it's all going to be to raise funds for a good cause. We've also got a special DJ set from Neil Barker.
Oh, Neil Barker.
Playing Mick's favourite tunes and songs that are appropriate to the evening. Moddy, Northern Soul type stuff. It's only £7 when we got tickets. It'll be £8 on the door. Anything else?
I don't know. No, whatever you want to say. I mean, it sounds like a great night. You've got these three. This is the sort of thing about everyone's always going on about. Oh, do you remember when this was going on in Woking? Do you remember when that was going on in Woking? So they've got a chance to sort of tap back into that, I suppose, again.
I just realised there's going to be a raffle as well.
Is there?
To win some records and that kind of thing. All the money from that will go for the charity. It's Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis, to give them a proper shout. Yeah, Mick was a lovely guy. Last time I saw him was actually in the cafe at Brookwood Sainsbury's.
Oh, right.
Both our wives at the time were off shopping and I was getting a drink. First proper chatting in quite a few years. And some of the stories, which I can't really talk about here because we were taken off air.
No, you can't.
But quite a rock and roll star, lovely man, great dad, brilliant granddad. So taken way too soon. And also for Dave, his brother, who came over for the funeral from Spain, where he lives. We got a logistical nightmare with this gig, but it's good fun. He actually missed the funeral because he had to go back before, because he kept getting delayed because of COVID. So that was actually gutting for him. So this is a proper send off, really, for Dave to see people as well, friends and family. Yeah, I'm a bit choked up thinking about it. It's going to be a good night.
Yeah, I think it's quite meaningful. But also, you were saying, John, you're playing with your son.
Yes, yeah.
That must be a really lovely thing for you, to sort of almost not full circle, but you're doing what you're used to do and you're sharing it with him.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to get him on stage with me for a long time. We used to go to a jam night and get up and do some stuff. But he plays a lot of heavier stuff. He's in a heavy metal band called Gut Locker. And
I know them.
And
yeah.
Sorry?
I know them, yeah.
You know them?
Yeah, I think they played our venue.
For them.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to entice him for a long time. And when we found out that Scott wasn't able to do it, I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to ask him, but I'll tell him we don't have a bass player. And he volunteered himself straight away. And he won't have any trouble learning it.
No.
And on the night as well, back when it was 5 o'clock high, Dave had this black Tokai guitar, and Mick used to use this black Fender guitar. Dave then sold the Tokai to a mutual friend of ours, and I now have it from him. He won't sell it to me, but he says I can borrow it until I'm fed up with it, until I'm bored with it. And so I'll be playing that on the night, and I'm not sure, but because funnily enough, the strange way that things work, the bass guitar has ended up in the hands of the TR5's bass player. And so either he or Ben will be playing it on the night. So there'll be two of the original guitars that they had in 5 o'clock high being used on the night, which is quite a nice thing to think that they're still around and that they've ended up, I say, back with people who were part of and care about the music scene in Woking back in the 90s and 80s and 90s. So.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It sounds like a brilliant night, and I think it's lovely that you've got your lad on board. Sometimes you find with where you do music, you talk to even mine do it, but they're it's too embarrassing because it's like mum, isn't it? Like, so
but John's a cool dad.
Yeah, he's cool. I'm not cool.
I don't know about that, but I think there is still a degree of that. That's why he won't get up and do stuff with me. But I think in this instance, obviously, he's known Michael and David since he was tiny, and so you know there's an involvement for him there, and yeah, I mean, and both are such great guys as well. I mean, I've always felt lucky to have them as my friends.
Yeah.
But you know, obviously, you know, one of them went to Spain to get away from me. But no, it's always been a privilege to have them as my friends, and Mick is sadly missed.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a thing, isn't it? When we were growing up, if someone's dad was in a band, because it was never mums then, it was dads, wasn't it? But everyone would be like, oh, their dad's in a band. And then by the time our kids went to school, it's like, oh, God, everyone's mum and dad was in a band. And it was like, my dad's a chef. And everyone's like, what? It just kind of changed.
Did have a period when we were around, certainly with Vox Pop, there was a big scene in Woking, and there were so many bands, and it sort of centred around the cricketers at Westfield.
That's right, yeah.
Because you go there any Friday and Saturday night, and you were watching young relevant bands. You weren't watching the cover bands, which is, you know, I'm not dissing cover bands because it's obviously what I do now.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah,
but it was young relevant bands, and there were so many. That, you know, there were like the Ha Ha Men and Exit and
Backlash
and all these bands that were around back then, All Fixed Soup, and these guys they were all getting out and playing London and all other venues, all the sort of clubs and things. I remember doing lots of gigs in Basingstoke, but there just seemed to be loads of bands back then, and I don't know if that's still the case so much now. I think people are a lot more just doing it and putting it online, really.
Well, I think the thing is that when they went those places, that everyone stopped. There was obviously nowhere to play in Woking, so everyone was going to Guildford, Brighton, London, which is why we started the project to get an original venue, because
it will happen.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm not going until it does, but it was because of that, because there's no original venue. Like, it's all, some of the pubs do covers. Nothing wrong with that. Like you. Been in covers bands as well, but it's hopefully we can sort of reignite that, people staying in the town or having a place to play again.
It would be good.
Well, it's so lovely to hear from you, John. We played Pretty Impossible. Shall we play Core Blimey now?
Yeah, this was actually released on Detour Records.
Dizzy Holmes.
Was it 93, John?
It was around about then, yes, yeah.
So going for 30 years ago, ouch.
Still releasing now.
And Detour is still going. In fact, Detour donating a few bits and pieces to the raffle.
Brilliant.
So thank you, Dizzy. Do you want to introduce the song, John?
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, this was written by David Bailey and performed by members of Vox Pop, and it's called Core Blimey.
Lovely.
If I'm not mistaken, she looks at me today. Hey, hey. Come round me, looks like she loves me. Come round me.
Vox Pop and Call Blimey. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. So, you got them, you got the TR5s. Actually, who else I'm fiddling with his press release. Neil Barker, very well-known DJ. Woking DJ, does lots and lots.
Yep.
Local person. Very nice local person. You got the TR5s, like John said, gigging all this weekend. Sid's a powerhouse.
He's quite a few things.
I wouldn't.
He was my best man once.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all very connected.
Once.
Well, just once. Yeah.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
My current wife, yeah.
You sound like Terry Wogan.
She said that to me
Wogan.
on my current husband the other day, so I was like, what?
What's this song, Cash? Is this this Vox Pop?
Yeah.
Should we play that?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's get some more out. Slap them out. While I've got them for free.
I'd like to buy new clothes. I'd really like to. What can I do? I'd love to take you out. I'd really love to, but what can I do? Some people buy new friends. Would you like to? What they tell you, they've got more cash than sense. But what would I know? I don't have either. And they bargain away their morality. Money talks, but man disagree. Go round, an insurance payoff that keeps us safe and sound. I'd love to spend, but not on myself. Put it to good use, then I'm a bit naive. There's lots of other ways for me to spend my cash. you, I can't impress you.